Triple S is the Sustainable Services at Scale initiative. Ghana is one of the learning countries of the initiative. Basically, what the project seeks to do is to work with the sector to find new ways of making water services more reliable, sustainable, so that they can increase coverage to cover everybody. In Ghana, what we have done so far is to look at what has already been done in the sector, what has gone well, and what could be improved. When we started the Triple S project, from the analysis that we did with the sector, we saw the whole sector of water as a ship that is on a voyage. Already there was something that was taking the sector to full coverage. But the understanding that we all had was that this ship is too slow. Probably there could be something wrong with the ship, but we don't have to throw away the whole ship and buy a new one. And so we began with a sector diagnosis by looking at this ship that is taking us there to see the parts that are working and the parts that require improvements. So we did that diagnosis in the first year, assessing what is, and together with the sector, look at what can be done. From the diagnosis of the ship, what we saw was that the sector already had developed documents. There was a policy. There were some operational documents, but they were defined specifically for projects. And that affected the approach. So there wasn't a common approach on how to deliver water service. So that was one thing that we identified. We also identified that the sector had defined standards and benchmarks for delivering water service. However, monitoring was just looking at how many infrastructure projects have been put in place, but not as per whether services are being delivered according to the standard that have been defined. Standard in terms of quality, standard in terms of reliability, standard in terms of the distance that it takes to get water. So the monitoring was not based on service. The other one had to do with the whole system and structure for water governance. There is clarified role at the policy level, clarified role at the agency level, which is the agency that facilitates the delivery of water service. But then when it comes to the role of local governments in the delivery of water service, that was also another area that was not clarified. In terms of financing of the sector, there was clarity around how new investments are financed. However, when it comes to post-construction support and financing of major maintenance and replacement, there weren't clarity. So those were the things that we found to be wrong with the ship, which is the sector. And together with the sector, what we are now doing after the first year is now to move into action. I'm painting a scenario of the ship, and I'm going to use that scenario to tell you how we want to have a refurbished ship for the sector. What we are doing in Triple S is that we'll be able to reduce the service downtime so that people who have had the privilege of getting water facilities would not go back to the river to fetch water. That those who haven't also had the opportunity of getting water facilities would have access to water facilities so that they will stop walking long distances in search of water. Our objective is that we have sustainable water services, services that are reliable to those who already have, And we can also bring the coverage to scale to those who don't have.